Hi, my dear students. Myself, Anu Shashidharan, Academic Director and Biology Faculty of Rankings Entrance Training Academy. I welcome all of you in my new video lesson. Today, I am going to talk about an important chapter of Class 10, that is, How do organisms reproduce, Part 4. Dear students, the last lesson we have discussed different types of vegetative propagation and tissue culture. Today, I am going to talk about sexual reproduction. Do you know what is the meaning of sexual reproduction? Yes, it's a type of reproduction in which a male gamete fuses with a female gamete to produce zygotes. The zygote develop to form new individual. This type of reproduction we can collectively call the sexual reproduction. Today I am going to talk about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. As you know, the flowering plants are also called angiosperms. Dear students, in flowering plants, the sexual reproduction occurs within specialized reproductive organs called the flowers. As you know, the reproductive parts of an angiosperm are located in the flower. I hope you have learned the structure of flower in lower classes. Dear students, a typical flower has four parts: sepals, petals, stamens, and carpels. Now we have to discuss in detail the structure of a flower. Dear students, first of all, we have to discuss what is sepal. As we know, sepal is the green leaf-like part in the outermost circle of a flower. Okay, this is the petals. This is the colorful parts of a flower. It is called the petals. As we know, the stamen and the pistil are the reproductive parts of the flower. You can see that the stamen having two regions, the anther and filament. This is the male reproductive part. It produces pollen grains in the anther which contains the male gamete. Dear students, the pistil is considered as the female reproductive part. Okay, it produces ovules inside the ovary which contains the female gamete. As you know, the pistil it's actually having three regions: stigma, style, and ovary. Is it clear? Dear students, based on the presence and absence of reproductory structures, I mean the stamens and pistil, the flowers can be broadly classified into two categories, that is, unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers. First of all, let me discuss about what is unisexual flowers. Dear students, the flower may be unisexual when it contains either stamens or pistil. Is it clear? With the flower which is having pistil, we can call it as the female flower, and a flower with the stamens, we can call it as male flower. That means the stamen and pistil are seen in different flowers. Such type of flowers are commonly called unisexual flower. Better example, papaya and watermelon. Is it clear? What is the meaning of a bisexual flower? You know, the flower which may be bisexual when it contains both stamens and pistil. As you know, in case of hibiscus, you can see that the stamens are there, the pistil also present. That means both the stamens and pistil are present in the same flower. Such type of flowers we can collectively call the bisexual flowers. Is it clear? Better examples: hibiscus, mustard, etc. Okay. As you know, the stamen is the male reproductive organ which contains the sperms, means male gametes. When you consider a typical stamen, it has two regions, the anther and the filaments. Do you know inside the anther the pollen grains are present? This is the structure of a single pollen grain. This pollen grain contains two male gametes. Is it clear? Pistil is the female reproductive organ. It contains three regions. This is the stigma, this is the style, and this is the ovary. Okay, stigma, style, and the ovary. Inside the ovary, the ovules are there. Okay, inside the ovule, the female gametes are there. Is it clear? Dear students, just after the fusion between male gametes and female gametes, this ovary will be converted into the fruit and the ovules must be converted into seed. Is it clear? Yes. Dear students, a new seed of a plant is formed when the male gamete and female gamete undergoes fusion. Is it clear? You're very familiar. The seed is considered as the product of sexual reproduction. Is it clear? Because of the fusion between male gametes and female gametes, what happened? What happened? The ovules must be converted into seed. Okay, so a new seed of a plant is formed when the male gamete present in the pollen grain fuse with the female gamete present in the ovule. As a result, what happened? A new seed will develop and the seed on germination to produce a new plantlet. Dear students, the seed formation occur in two different steps, that is pollination and fertilization. Is it clear? Let me discuss about pollination and fertilization in detail. Do you know what is the meaning of pollination? Yes, it is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma is called pollination. Dear students, the pollination may be either self-pollination or cross-pollination. What are the differences between self-pollination and cross-pollination? Yes, in self-pollination, if this transfer of pollen grains occurs in the same flower. Is it clear? That means the transfer of pollen grains from anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower. This type of pollination we can call it as self-pollination. Dear students, this type of self-pollination takes place only in bisexual plants. Is it clear? Or bisexual flowers. What is the meaning of cross-pollination? If the pollen grains are transferred from one flower to another of the same kind, this type of pollination, what we can say, cross-pollination. Is it clear? That means the transfer of pollen grains from anther of a flower to stigma of another flower, what we can say, cross-pollination. Dear students, it is possible in both unisexual and bisexual flowers. Okay, just after pollination, what happened? Dear student, this is actually the pollen grains. Now, as a result of pollination, the pollen grains fall on the stigma. Okay, after pollination, the most important event occur. What is that? The formation of a pollen tube. Is it clear? That means after the pollen grains landed on the suitable stigma, what happened? A tube grows out of the pollen grain. Is it clear? And that should travel through the style and reach the ovary. This is called a pollen tube. As you know, inside the inside the pollen tube, how many male gametes are there? two male gametes are there. Is it clear? Two male gametes are formed inside the tube that enter into the ovary. Is it clear? Now, as a result of the development of the pollen tube that had entered into the ovule, now the situations are ready for fusion. What is the fusion? That means the fusion between male gametes and female gametes. As you know, the female gametes are present inside the ovule. Is it clear? Now, this is the time for fertilization. Dear students, what is the meaning of fertilization? Fertilization is the fusion between male gametes and female gametes. Before learning about fertilization, we have to discuss about the structure of female gametophyte. The female gametophyte is present inside the ovule. Is it clear? This is the detailed structure of a female gametophyte which having female gamete called egg cell. Is it clear? This female gametophyte is actually a seven-celled structure. It's actually having seven cells. Okay, one egg cell, two synergids, three antipodal cells, and a central cell or single central cell. Is it clear? Now, as a result of pollen germination, the pollen tube have already been entered into the female gametophyte, isn't it? Is it clear? This pollen tube have already entered inside the female gametophyte. Now, the situations are ready for fertilization. Dear students, how many male gametes are there in the pollen tube? Yes, two male gametes. So during fertilization, one of the male gametes fused with the egg cell. Is it clear? One of the male gametes fused with the egg cell to form a structure called a zygote. Is it clear? The zygote later develop into embryo. Is it clear? Then how many male gametes are left? Yes, the only one male gametes are already there. Okay, that male gametes, I mean the second male gamete fused with the central cell. This is the central cell, isn't it? Dear students, the central cells are also called a secondary nucleus. Is it clear? That's why I have represent it as SN. It means secondary nucleus. So, one male gamete fused with the secondary nucleus to form a structure called a primary endosperm nucleus. Is it clear? This primary endosperm nucleus later develop into endosperm. This endosperm and embryo together form the seed. Actually, you are very familiar. The fertilization process occurs inside the ovule. So after fertilization, this ovule must be converted into seed. Okay, I would like to discuss this fertilization process once again. Dear students, after the development of the pollen tube have entered inside the ovule. Inside the ovule, what will be there? The female gametophyte. Female gametophyte having one egg cell and one central cell or secondary nucleus. How many male gametes are there? Yes, two male gametes. One male gamete fused with the egg cell. This is the egg cell. One male gamete fused with the egg cell. Is it clear? To form a structure called zygote. Dear students, this is the zygote. This is the pollen tube. The pollen tube having how many male gametes? Two male gametes. One male gamete fused with the egg cell to form a structure called a zygote. Okay, this fusion is called syngamy. Am I clear? Then one more male gamete is left. That male gamete fused with the secondary nucleus. This is the secondary nucleus to form a structure called primary endosperm nucleus and later develop into endosperm. This is the endosperm. Is it clear? The second fusion, I mean the one more male gamete fused with the secondary nucleus to form primary endosperm nucleus and later develop into endosperm. This fusion we can collectively call the triple fusion. Dear students, in angiosperm, a single fertilization contains or it consists of two fusions. One is the syngamy and other is the triple fusion. Is it clear? That is why the process of fertilization in angiosperms are commonly called double fertilization. What is the product of double fertilization? Seed is the product of double fertilization. Is it clear? Yes. After the formation of seed, you can see that the seed consisting of embryo and two cotyledons. Is it clear? This is the embryo and these two are considered as the cotyledons. That means the stored food materials. Okay, so the seed contains the future plant. This is the future plant. This embryo is considered as the future plant. Okay, dear students, the embryo it's actually having two important regions, radicle and plumule. Radicle is the future root and the plumule is the future shoot. That means as a result of germination, what is germination? That means the embryo should be converted into a seedling. Is it clear? Okay, the process is called germination. As a result of germination, what happens? This radicle will give rise to the root system of the plant and the plumule will give rise to the shoot system of the plant. As a result, what happened? The seed germinated to form a new plantlet. Is it clear? That means the development of plantlets from a seed, the process is called germination. Is it clear? Dear students, this is actually the process of sexual reproduction in angiosperms or flowering plants. I hope you have understood all the concepts. Okay, I request all of you have to go through this video lesson again and again for better understanding. Okay, now I would like to wind up. Thank you. Have a nice